Hello, everybody, welcome. Rosa Psychic get a hell, huh. Everybody, welcome. Rosa Psychic get. Okay, guys, so I have to make a video one of these days about. I should start. I'm gonna start a parallel channel just for makeup. That way, you can have conversations about that. Okay. Anyway, so let's get started. Today is Saturday, April 26th. It's about 8 p.m. Um, Eastern time. And so there are several things to discuss that are pressing. And the first one, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Virginia Giuffre. I think that's how you say her name. So she was a victim of that Jeffrey Epstein. She was, I think, probably the best known accuser of Jeffrey Epstein. And she was the one that accused Prince Andrew and such, and she died of suicide. Now, I know the first thing we think about, it's like, oh, something happened here. Was she killed? Uh, I have to say, that my first impression, we'll look into it in a little bit more, is that it's actually not foul play. She was in fact involved in a serious accident, and I recall this was like not even a month ago, I think, and when it was announced, just guys, this pencil isn't. I can't resist it. I am addicted. When it was announced, uh it was like a now from her family. So she said something like she was already saying that life wasn't worth living. There was just something, I forgot exactly what it was, but it was this very serious accident. She almost died from it, and then she was facing a very difficult recovery from this accident. And it had come out also, and this is all the things I had seen and read before. This is just now or this year, that she had been abused by her husband this whole time. That she was a victim of domestic violence on top of everything. So it was sad, when I saw it then. Okay. Okay. So I'm just reading here. Okay. So anyway, so she was under a lot of stress. And I think it's very, very sad that she essentially sacrificed her life. Like she came to this life like this, and she was very young. And guys, don't forget, she was recruited in Mar-a-Lago. She was working in Mar-a-Lago when Jeffrey Epstein spotted her. Or it was, I don't remember if it was him or if it was Ghislaine, but to think about the significance of this. So, but as to the protection, I'd like to ask for protection. A beautiful ray of light coming into my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources, that I create the good and only the good. And so it is. Okay, so tell me about Virginia. So okay, so let me show you guys. I am going to show you this article about her passing, and the I think this accident was the thing that really led to this, and these other things that we hadn't known, I didn't know about before. Okay, so let me share. Okay, here it is. Okay, so Virginia Giuffre's family speaks out about her suicide at 41, too much to carry. Giuffre's sister-in-law, Amanda Roberts, tells people sometimes when that mental pain overrules, you can't see anything but that. Emergency services responded to a residence near Gabi and found an unresponsive 45-year-old. Virginia's brother, Sky Roberts, was staying with her when she died, according to Amanda. Amanda, that's her sister-in-law, right? In late March, so this is what I'm talking about, guys, that I saw earlier. In late March, Virginia said in an Instagram post that she was near death and in the hospital after a car she was in days earlier was struck by a school bus going more than 49 miles per hour. I've gone into kidney and renal failure. Virginia wrote alongside a photo of herself lying in a hospital bed, her face covered in bruises. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology. Shortly after, Virginia came forward with allegations of abuse against her husband of 22 years, Robert Giuffre. She told People in an exclusive statement, I was able to fight back against Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, who abused and trafficked me, but I was unable to escape the domestic violence in my marriage until recently. After my husband's latest physical assaults, I can no longer stay silent. Virginia had reported assault to police in Dunsborough, Western Australia in January, though Robert was not charged for any crime, Virginia's rep confirmed to People. Okay. Sky and Amanda told People that Virginia had been having marital issues for a while and had separated from Robert, the father of her 3 children, sometime around 2023. Amanda tells People that she believes the trauma in Virginia's life may have become too much when you go through what she's been through. Her entire life is not over when the course case is over. You are still fighting for the rest of your life. Okay, so okay, so that's what I that's the story here. So so guys, I have to say I don't think it was foul play. I really don't. It is a strange story, right? You think, oh wow, somebody who's involved in something so high profile. But when she had that accident, when I saw first looked into the accident, I did think it was suspicious, the accident itself. But I don't, but I feel like for some reason I don't think like it was, honestly, because she was herself under so much duress after I don't feel like I'm trying to pick up if the accident, I don't think it was, honestly, that's just my impression that I pick up here. I think she had the weight of the world on her shoulders, and I think she was in danger earlier, much more than now. And so I don't think that's just my sense that the carrying of the pain and carrying of the burden of all of the things that she experienced, that she witnessed, and she spoke against, that alone is a death sentence, right? In the sense that it took too much from her. And honestly, I did not know, right? We didn't know that she had a partner who she was a victim of domestic violence on top of it, everything. So rest in peace. I have to say I try to look kind of connect with her, I guess, as I'm talking here. But I feel like I've said this before sometimes, she's in recovery on the other side. I think she is. Um, I think she is like in this place where I've said this before, that when people pass, sometimes, so depending on their circumstances, sometimes they go to this place that is sort of like a hospital. It's sort of like when souls that have suffered a lot, physical pain, a lot of sometimes mental pain, addiction, and such, they go to this place until they can kind of recover because it's too much, until they can have an understanding of who they were and what happened because their energy was so low when they passed. Okay. And I think honestly, I know we talked about the suicide situation. That's not, I'm not memorializing anything. I think her category of like everything that she went through, if there was any sort of burden associated with it, on the other side, I think it's totally removed, right? Like I don't feel like, I think the pain that she had was was just too acute. And now, like on so many levels, right? And she sort of sacrificed herself, right? Like by bringing all of this publicly and putting herself in danger and all that, right? And liberating herself to a degree, but also becoming associated with some of the darkest stories ever, right? So, but that's her story. And guys, you know, I have to say what I think about her. I feel like she's one of these women in history I feel like she has changed the world in a way, in the sense that all of the stuff that she was brave enough to share. She was brave enough to go after. I think her courage in many ways uh was how do I say this? It's sort of like it, you know, in a way it created a change. It created a change and it created, I don't know how to explain it. It's just like she was one of the people who brought the light into this darkness that in a way we're still somewhat living through, right? Not, I mean, but I don't mean to minimize of everything obviously that she suffered on a personal level, but this is the dark, like she opened the window into this darkness that was always hidden, right? And I thank you for everything you've done for the world, Virginia. And I'm sorry that you went through so much and that this happened this way, that you've suffered so much on so many levels. But I hope that you find peace. I know God is with you and you will find peace there where you are. It's peaceful at last. So thank you. Okay, so let's go to the next subject. Okay? All right. So guys, I was gonna go into a different piece of news, but I thought I'm not done here with this issue. In a way, I still have some questions because then I was looking through the different subjects that I may address today. And I feel like I don't want to, talk about this, go from this. Oh, what about Trump's blue suit? Um, I have a question here since she's gone now. What is going to happen to the Epstein case? And are we ever going to know? You know how, by the way, that woman, the protection, I like to ask for protection, beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head as I breathe in. I feel my lungs as I breathe out. I create a circle. I create a circle. I step into it. I step into it. I feel protected. I feel connected. I like to ask that information come only from the highest sources that create the good and only good service. Okay, so tell me about um, the Epstein case. I was going to talk about him, Bondi, because she was involved in this. Is how evil this woman is. She was involved. I think she was one of the people in Florida who prevented the information, who gave a good deal to him. And this is how this one is involved in so much darkness. This one, Pim Bondi. Oh my God. So that's why. So, but what I mean to say is, you know how at first when the Trump government started, they're like, oh, we're gonna release the Epstein files. Let's release the Epstein files. Nothing. Instead, she went ahead and arrested the judge. I talked about it yesterday. But so are we gonna see what's gonna happen here with the Epstein files? And let's check out some cards just to add something. So, and Virginia says she's not available, but oh yeah, so Spirit, tell me what's going on. What's going to happen? Will the truth come out about Trump, really, and the abuse? And let's just ask about the Epstein case. So, what is going to happen to the Epstein case now that she passed? Okay, the woman. Okay, interesting. First card, recognition of something. And this is the law. So this thus far it suggests yes. This is interesting. This card, it means also older men or sexual activity. The court knows the sexual activity. And the deal. Interesting. There's a deal. Okay, so is Pam Bondi going to release this? Okay, I'm asking, but I know the Okay, rat. Okay, this is corruption news, corrupt news of the men. So, but in the future, so what's going to happen? News about corruption related to that. But it's so it's coming. It could also be the news. This is because this card here is something coming soon. Invitation. Okay, cut. The man invited and then got it cut. So, okay, so tell me what is going to happen here for this situation. Saying hold. And then it shows me Putin falling, Trump falling, and this is going to come out in tandem with the all of these power brokers falling. And I do see interesting. I see Kamala making a point of getting it released when she is the president. So we'll see. Okay, and I get this image of us seeing from Kamala saying, "Don't worry, Rosie. Hold on. It's gonna happen. It's not. It hasn't been in vain. It won't. It will not be forgotten." Because she's. It's interesting that I'm getting Kamala here. She's saying something to the effect, "This is key. This is so connected to this world that we have seen." And that when I remember what a lot of the astrologers have talked about when Pluto was in Capricorn, right? That was the beginning of this, like the extreme, not beginning, like it was this extreme era that had the financial crisis, had um Trump, the president, right? This all of this. So actually, let me go. Let's see, Pluto. Okay, Pluto in Capricorn lasted from 2008 to 2024. So, yeah, there's the information. No, really. So it's saying yes. But and then I see it's still see Kamala giving me this message saying like flying 2026. So we're gonna go back to that then because it's central to Trump's power. Say, you know, guys, I really do believe that part of the power of Trump has to do with his knowledge. And it's like, oh my God. Okay, sorry guys, one thing got his break. So like okay, sorry. Has to do with Trump's knowledge of compromise. Okay, related to others, not him, obviously not himself, but he has been manipulated through compromise. We know that, and he has used that to manipulate others. So I think this is key, and I think Epstein probably either was the main source of this compromise, or I think he gave it to Russians afterwards. Okay, so that's that. So let's pause here and continue to other subject, but I wanted to get to the bottom of this, and here we are. Okay, so before we get to the funeral and everything that happened, the drama that happened there, there's just a few things that I wanted to share with you, and they have to do with Trump's shifting position and wobbliness on the Ukraine situation. But this may, I just wanted to show you this. It's like, wow, okay, so let's share. This man is really a figure of contempt. Okay. This is this is a wait, cough. Look at this. Let me just play this for you guys so you see it. So, according to to people I follow on Twitter, he went. Oh, actually, was the ambassador. I forgot his name. Teaches at Stanford. McFall. He said that he was there with no. I think it was him. No translators that he met with Putin, and you could tell that this is, of course, a propaganda exercise because Putin spoke English.
How are you, Mr. President? Thank you. Thank you. So good to see you.
Oh, look, how nice. Putin's so, oh, look, he's such a friendly figure. His name.
From the embassy. So, okay.
So, okay, first of all, to start, you see that the woman, like, he has no translator. I guess she's from the embassy. She act as a translator, and there's four Russians there, all prepared. This is the Kirill. Okay, let me share again. I know people be like, Rosie, your head. I'm sorry about that, but it's okay. So, by the way, however, it's interesting because let's see. All right, so you see here okay, hold on. Why do I here this part? Okay, so he's setting.
Interpret from the embassy.
So,
Okay.
so he just met this person there. How humiliating. The AP is filming this, and there's four Russians. This is the finance guy that we know. Oh my God, why do I don't want to see this. Stop showing me this preview. Okay, so I don't know exactly who. I recognize this one guy. Okay, the one here. This one here. Okay. So look at that how ridiculous the situation is, and he's being humiliated visually already. And obviously, it's not a negotiation. And the guy, he's not, and it's like, where's Mark Rubio? Marco Rubio. He's not, he's acting as the Secretary of State in reality. And he's in a losing proposition. He's there to just take whatever the needs and wants of Russia, right? So what's happening with COP? Wow, interesting, weird. He showed me this image of him cut here, and like his skin is open, and they're shoving it in. Dude, what do you mean cut him up? That's what they're gonna do to him. He doesn't. So there's threats to him as a person, yes, that we'll cut you up. I want to cut you up, right? He's dealing with mobsters essentially because the Putin government isn't a government that is made up of mobsters. Also, in some way, it's a mob, a klepto, kind of what Trump wants to be, right? But anyway, so that's it. It's saying to create the propaganda. It's a propaganda exercise to appear as though Russia is negotiating, but they're not, right? So, so what's happening? Yeah, I still see. This guy is just things are gonna go bad towards to him for him. It's not. It's just having us. I think he's a traitor. He really is. So what's gonna happen with Russia's demands for Ukraine to say no? And I think every citizen there, regardless of the absolute horrific situation of the war, regardless of all the pain, they are not. The whole point is that they do not want to give everything up to Russia because they know this is the problem with Russia. They don't respect anything. So if Ukraine says we say yes to whatever they want or not, they're going to still continue to attack because that's what they do. So that's that. So I don't think, and I see Putin. He's pushing for whatever he wants, but it's not. I don't think it's working, and I think Zelensky is strengthened. And by the way, did you guys see that people clapped when he was shown in a monitor during the Pope's funeral? So that's the situation here. All right. So I still don't see any peace happening. Okay. So but then Trump says publicly two things. Once he made a statement. One, just to show you here, 1 second. Okay, let me find it. First, okay, this one okay, let me share this. Here, after meeting with Zelensky, Trump says in a lengthy post that he is questioning whether Putin just wants to end the war. Maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along. And he starts to try to blame Obama for He's literally blaming Obama for Russia invading and taking over Crimea. Like what's such BS. And then he complained that he said something about Crimea. Oh, well, you know what? They have these ridiculous requests like keeping Crimea. He's trying his best to sway things towards the pro-Putin direction. It's not working. Okay, so this is where we are. Now I want to show you it was very interesting when we saw at the funeral. Okay, let's see. Did you see, guys? I saw it was so good earlier. Okay, let's see in my history. One second. I'll be right back. So this is an analysis of Macron's handshake, non-handshake of it was great, non-handshake of Trump. So 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 this is from the Combat Veteran channel. It's a channel I watch sometimes. And so he put out a video today and he talked about it. I just don't know let him talk here.
Way low at his side and actually partially closes his fist.
Okay.
Macron won't even shake Trump's hand. To me, says, especially after doing a huge, big handshake to Zelensky, that message to me is eminently clear, right? Is so clear. You can actually see to avoid the handshake. Look. Macron draws his elbows back, puts them way low at his side, and actually partially closes his fist to avoid getting forced into a handshake. This kind of politicking is so funny to me. It's such a troll. But you can see that there's really, Trump's really listening. They're trying to have this conversation.
So that was that part. Now then Trump goes to sit down with Zelensky. But I thought it was so funny that Macron, because they all know it's being filmed, right? And it's going to be public. So I have a question. Why did Macron do that? He knows it would be used by Trump and it's saying, oh, it's saying that Europe is united in humiliating Trump publicly and standing with Zelensky. Okay, so he's particularly furious at what happened in the White House with Zelensky and also what they did to Mark Rutte even. How he uses all of the appearances as propaganda exercises, right? So so that was that. That was just to humiliate him and show how little they respect him. And I see also that Macron has the help of the French intelligence services with dealing with a personality like Trump, how to show him his place, quote unquote. So that was interesting. Now, I have just a quick question here. What did Trump talk to Zelensky about? It's saying nothing of relevance. It's saying he was upset at how he was treated because he did. Did you see, guys, by the way, the ridiculous suit? And so there was an invitation that stated that men had to wear dark suits and a black uh, necktie. And what he wears below. And I see, Mr. President, you were supposed. It's like he wants to stand out and to be the one, but it's like he's saying here, I'm getting, you know what? Rules are meant for other people. They're not meant for me because I'm the greatest president. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best president. The best president. So he wants to, it's like, it's saying it's an FU to everybody else because he has to be the one who, I don't follow the rules. But of course, I'm sure that if Putin had said, oh, you have to wear, he will do whatever, right? But it's just that, right? It's a sign of defiance and there's respect. That's what it is. And I'm getting here. Rosie, then Macron has all the right to do whatever he wants. But I feel like he did not like how he was treated, and it really bothered him how he was not respected, quote unquote. Nobody talked to me. Nobody wanted to talk to me. I wonder why, Donald. I wonder why. So that is information about this interesting event. Interesting. So all right, one more. So Trump's blue suit at Pope's funeral draws attention. So, and it even became an article in the New York Times, which is, I'm not saying, but it's just interesting, right? So here, let's see if I can see, does it work? Oh, well, that does. Okay, so, okay. And it's not very high resolution, but that's right. I actually don't, I feel like Melania does feel like she feels the gravity of it all. But so wow, guys, I hadn't even realized that he disrespected the dress code. He did not even wear black necktie. He's wearing all blue because oh no, because it can't because I'm in the United States. It's like I hate the world. That's right. And it's saying his brand and his personality and he himself is all about grievances. So that's where he stands. Okay, that's his. And I see that he hates it. He hates it. It's saying because he's not the center of the attention. But I do think that Melania kind of got with the program, really. He doesn't. Because, I'm sorry, I think he's the Antichrist, let's just say it, okay? And he does not like, why should I have to respect their rules? No. So, okay. All right. So guys, I just discovered something. No, it's funny. I was just editing. I didn't realize I could edit and make it fit the whole thing. Interesting. Living, learning. Oh, interesting. So, okay, this is going back to I think it's an important issue related to Pope Francis, and it has to do with Opus Dei. Now, Opus Dei is this organization. I did not realize there is an official connection here um, to the Vatican, but it's a very fascist, it's a truly fascist Catholic organization. And so they did not like Pope Francis because he was a Jesuit. And he was uh, against it. So I'll read more into this, but basically they stood in very opposite camps. He was left. I would say he was on the left. He cared about the people that were suffering the most. That's why. That's I think without a question. So, but let me just read this to you. So, and Gareth Gore, he is a person who wrote a book. Let's see here. Author of Opus, a damning account, vividly told extensively researched. So he wrote a book about the Opus Dei, this man. So he's very qualified to speak about this. So Opus Dei has spent decades seeking to infiltrate the American conservative movement and has poured money and resources into penetrating Washington's corridors of power. So we have, like I said, Leonard Leo from Federalist Society. We have Barr. We have Kavanaugh. Okay, here. Gore has noted that Pope Francis had been in a standoff with the group, Opus Dei, which was set to vote on new statutes over the coming weeks. Prior to his death, the group put a hold on new statute votes. So Pope Francis was pushing for Opus Dei to change something because they were accused of all these horrible human trafficking and rape. Okay, seriously. It is clearly, now going back here too, it is clearly hoping the next pope will be more amenable to Opus Dei, that he will water down the reforms. Many suspect that Opus Dei was dragging its feet in the hope that Francis might pass before he could push through serious reform of the organization. If true, that tactic may have worked. So, okay, so that's okay, so then this is the article from Newsweek that okay, okay, so here it is. Pope symbolic power. The Pope does not necessarily possess a great deal of a hard power, but he certainly serves as a moral authority for followers and leaders across the globe. The Vatican is also an observer of the United Nations, which lends the Pope some authority on international issues as well. Okay, so all right, let's just go here. Here it is. Okay, Opus Dei is a Catholic group whose stated goal is to contribute to the evangelizing mission of the Church by fostering among Christians of all social classes a life fully consistent with their faith in the middle of the ordinary circumstances of their lives. Blah, blah, blah. Gore said the group, which he described as an abusive cult, has been accused of serious crimes, including human trafficking and labor exploitation. Opus Dei has spent decades seeking to infiltrate the American conservative movement. Okay, here it is. He noted that individuals with alleged ties to the group, such as Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, and lobbyist Leonard Leo, have huge influence over the way that America is on. Gore noted that Pope Francis had been in a standoff with the group. So, in a way, right, this explains the hostility that all these MAGA people had towards Pope Francis because he really stood against those values, essentially. Okay, all right, let's see here. Here it is. There are 150 members of the House of Representatives who identified as Catholic, according to the Pew Research Center. And 6 of the 9 Supreme Court justices identified as Catholic, which is surprising, right? Not all of them conservative Catholics, but it's interesting, right? Okay, so okay, the election of Pope will take place after the funeral. Let's see here. Okay, so let's see the date. Hmm. Wow, the cardinals vote by secret ballot up to 4 times each day until new pope is chosen. This will go on until 2/3 of the cardinals agree on a new pope. I got goosebumps. Wow. Each time a pope is not chosen, the ballots will be burned with chemicals to produce black smoke to signify the voting will continue. Once the pope is chosen, the ballots will be burned with chemicals to produce white smoke. Interesting information. Interesting information. Okay, so let's find out here. So I have several questions here about the Opus Dei situation. Are they, because I feel like, guys, in a way, this is also connected to the weird, not weird, there's a connection to the Epstein scheme in a weird way, in the sense that they also do, um, they do human trafficking in a way or another, and then they're, I think they were accused in Argentina and Chile, probably. I feel like I've read this before, but they were abusing people, but what I mean to say is that they cover up the evil that are people like Leonard Leo and Kevin Roberts, right? So they use religion as justification. So my question is, what is going to happen to Opus Dei? Because again, the voting to change their statutes was stopped because Pope Francis passed away, and that's when someone said, "Oh, then does it mean that JD Vance really killed him?" Because I think JD Vance is part of it. He definitely he became Catholic, I think, to get close to this power group. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen to Opus Dei now. Wow, the image I didn't even get to see yet, but I see it's kind of really dark. So it shows me like if the screen is all white, that's the Pope, kind of the white light, and then there's this man with a black cape, and the eyes are all black, like there's no white in the eyes, like blackness, and like this really evil thing there, and they're looking, and the Pope knows that they were dangerous and very dark. But he's like, and I see the Pope looking from above, and the light is still around, and they're still small. So is Opus Dei going to collapse or continue? Okay, now there I see that. Wow, it's interesting when I look into it. It's just this dark figure. Obviously, it's not one person, but it's essentially the representation of this fascism and abuse, oppression of women and so forth. It's saying that's why they need to oppress women, because that's the easiest way to oppress I feel like it's not that women okay, it's not that women cannot be evil and all that, but I think oppressing, why, I have a question. Why are these oppressive movements always so focused on oppressing women? That seems to be like the the number one like red flag is always about, why is it such a big feature for them? Because they need they are abusers. They need to oppress people, or they're going to oppress the most vulnerable. And women are always more and more vulnerable because they're mothers, right? And because we're physically weaker. So they have to, abuse has to happen in order for these movements to take over, yes. Because it is about one being better or above the other, saying. So I see that they're going to, now they're kind of happy. And it shows me the face of Kevin Roberts, but they're like with this dark cloak figure but next to him. That's the Opus Dei affiliation. And it's saying that the Opus Dei thing is the excuse that they can get away with everything, and it's a traditionalism. And also whatever abuse they do. Oh, but we're Catholics. We care about Jesus. Wow, it's the worst, right? It's saying to excuse to do the dark work in the name of God. It's the absolute worst, it's saying. But I see that they will be interesting. They will be there's this lift that is this veil that is lifted, but they don't seem to. And then once it begins to get lifted, they escape. So I feel like in a way or another, it's always going to exist, but in a very diminished form. So, but the question is this, the new Pope, are they going to be able to stop Opus Dei? Or are they going to drop Opus Dei? Do this. What does this mean? No, it's over. They want to really? Can they really do that? Be like, no, no, bye. I see this new person like, no, no, dissolve. So the statute, so let me see here. So this is like Opus Dei postpones adoption of new statutes. Again, this is too complicated, guys. It's beyond the scope of this channel. Basically, the person prelature Opus Dei has significantly reduced the scope of its 2-week General Congress that began this week due to the death of Pope Francis. Here it is. Opus Dei had planned to revise its statutes to conform them to Pope Francis' motu proprio ad charisma tuendum. Essentially, the point of the directive subjective Opus Dei to the leadership of dicastery for the clergy rather than dicastery for bishops, and ended the practice of elevating the prelate of Opus Dei to the role of a bishop. So now effectively lessening their power. That essentially, right? Not, I don't even want to begin to try to find out what each of these things mean. Okay. Okay, but I see that I actually feel like, God willing, okay, the new person may hate Opus Dei even more. Let fingers crossed. Okay. Okay, so now what happens to now, okay, JD Vance is also, he's like, I see that JD Vance is like a mouse, a rat that's like his mouse power, and he will join any organization that will allow him to get power. Okay. And this is also why Peter Thiel's, I think he also converted. Yes. I think I think he's a Catholic. Okay. So now let's see what happens to what's going on with JD Vance and Opus Dei. He's like, oh, because he's looking to those Project 2025 people, but I don't think it's going to end well. No. I think there is more to them there. I guys, the stuff I pick up here is extremely dark. And I don't even mean an actual thing that they're doing, right? It's just the vibe is very dark. They have very dark. It's like they want, and I think they like a lot. It doesn't have to be just Catholic. It happens to be Catholic, but the way that they have, I feel like they have their goals to control the population and use religion to dominate, right? It's just an excuse. So I see that Jada Vance is very like, oh, power, power, but it's not gonna end well. So. Okay, so that was all for today, guys. I know that's maybe a lot of different conversations here, but I hope you enjoy the show, and I see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. Good night. Prayer and energy time. Let's use this time to send energy to people healing and going through complex health challenges. Their bodies need the energy we send them. Bo, recuperating from intestinal surgery at the Mount Sinai Hospital, battling cancer and winning. I spoke to her today and I felt her mother telling me she will survive and thrive. Cecilia, her sister, visits her daily. Cecilia is herself also battling cancer and she's also winning. Bella is also undergoing cancer treatment. Let's envision her pain free and 100% cancer free. Treatment. Let's send Bo, Cecilia, and Bella energy. Bo, Cecilia, and Bella are fully healed, full of energy, cancer free, and proud to tell this story of great health and recovery. Okay, so just going to be silent for a bit as I send them energy right now. And I hope you do the same. And also, you can think of others that you know, your loved ones, someone that you feel may be in need of energy, and focus on them. Okay? Okay, so let's start. I'll be silent here for a little bit. Thank you again. Let's create this circle of energy around them. And so it is.